To wrap up this module, I want to talk a little bit about specific neurotransmitters. As I said, neurotransmitters are proteins that transmit signals between the pre- and postsynaptic neurons, but different neurotransmitters are going to have different effects on the brain. We'll delve a little bit more into the kinds of effects we can see with neurotransmitters in the next module when we spend some time talking about drugs and their effect on the brain. But let's spend a little time talking about some of the major neurotransmitters you run across in the field of neuroscience. Serotonin is a well-known neurotransmitter, particularly because of its role in mood. It has been found that increasing the levels of serotonin in someone's brain can be an effective treatment towards some of the symptoms of depression and other mood regulation disorders. Serotonin, however, is involved in many functions of the body. It is involved in sexual arousal, hunger, as well as mood. In fact, one major role of neurotransmitter is integrating sensory information between visual, auditory, smell, touch, all of your senses. And when we get a dramatic bump in serotonin, it can actually cause strong hallucinatory effects. In fact, increasing serotonin in large amounts is probably one of the primary mechanisms that drugs such as LSD or psilocybin mushrooms or mescaline or other hallucinogenic drugs actually is their mechanism of action in causing these hallucinations. Another ubiquitous neurotransmitter is dopamine. Dopamine is involved in learning and reward and assessment of outcome. It is a motivating neurotransmitter. It is a neurotransmitter that motivates action, alters behavior. In fact, if we look at many classic examples of early psychological research, a lot of it really focuses on dopamine. Classical conditioning and opera conditioning are predominantly involved in associating reward with action, and dopamine is what mediates this. So when you train a dog, or even when you train yourself, you are using dopamine as the motivator. When something exciting happens, like winning a jackpot, or getting money, or eating your favorite kind of food, that rush, that excitement is dopamine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that is involved in movement and memory. It modulates the motor neurons and the muscle fibers and activates those muscle fibers, allowing your muscles to move. It is also found that the loss of acetylcholine-producing neurons in the hippocampus is a leading cause of dementia. One of the most deadly nerve agents known to man is called VX nerve agent, and it has a very simple mechanism of action. VX nerve agent blocks the effect of acetylcholine, causing your muscle neurons or motor neurons to be unable to activate muscle fibers. This actually causes your heart to stop beating, your lungs to stop breathing, and you get paralysis and death. This is a widespread nerve toxin because of how easy and cheap it is to make, and has been deployed many times, unfortunately, in our history. The endocannabinoid system, which is probably best known for its role in the effects of smoking marijuana, is a set of neurotransmitters that are involved in regulating a wide variety of bodily functions. For example, the passage of time. You have several neurons that keep a close watch of time and allows us to have that inner clock. The endocannabinoid system helps regulate that, and which is why when consumption of marijuana might lead to the increase or decrease in the perception of the flow of time. It's also involved in regulating appetite and even pain perception, which is why some endocannabinoid drugs, such as THC and CBD, have been looked at for pain management. The last two neurotransmitters I want to take a look at are glutamate and GABA. Glutamate and GABA are kind of two sides of the same coin. Remember we talked about how neurotransmitters can be excitatory or inhibitory? Well, glutamate and GABA personify this more than any other neurotransmitter. Glutamate is a general excitatory neurotransmitter. In the presence of glutamate, our nervous system is activated and far more likely to fire. In fact, some people who have heightened anxiety levels often test with high levels of glutamate. Their nervous system is just far more excited, far more likely to respond. You may have seen signs such as the no MSG here, which is related to the use of monosodium glutamate as a flavor enhancer. And while it excites the nervous system and causes the food to be more tasty, there are some fears that it might cause migraines and other health problems. That research really didn't pan out, but there's still a big stigma associated with the use of MSG. On the other hand, GABA is a general inhibitory. In the presence of GABA, your nervous system is far less likely to respond. Gabapentin is a drug that increases the presence of GABA in the nervous system, as often used in the treatment of pain or anxiety. It increases the threshold at which neurons will fire, thus slowing down the nervous system. This reduces the perception of pain, particularly nerve pain, and can also decrease the sensitivity of the nervous system in people who suffer from anxiety, lowering some of those symptoms.